Alright, Holly, I kind of get what you're coming from on this. Pretty good video for the first time, by the way. Um, but I kind of get where you're coming from, and honestly, I expected something a lot more harsh, like, you know, something more biblically oriented, like this whole, well, most of the arguments I get from conservative Christians. I kind of expected more of that, because I know Southern Baptist is pretty conservative, I've heard, because my mom's a Baptist, not a Southern Baptist. I don't know what kind she was a Baptist, not Southern, and she said the Southern Baptists were pretty conservative, but I'm assuming that it varies, of course. Religion and beliefs vary from person to person. Even someone growing up in a conservative faith, the church might not be as conservative as the typical Southern Baptist, or, you know, the individual might not necessarily go along with how conservative that faith is to such an extent. So, I mean, it really, you know, depends. Beliefs really range and vary. I mean, even though I don't have faith or belief in God, you know, my beliefs would vary from that of another atheist, even. The only thing we might share is that we don't believe in God, but in other ways our beliefs would vary. So, I mean, and also your way of thinking about hell is for people that only live their life terribly and have bad intentions in every action they do. That's more of like the New Age thinking. That's more of like the more, well, it shouldn't just be based on like, this is a sin, this is a sin, this is a sin, this is a sin. It's all about intention. Like, I think that makes sense, but even on that, let me use this as an example. Okay, let's say I was a rapist. But I was a rapist because I was molested as a little child. And so that sort of created this darkness inside me. Okay, and I started doing these terrible things. And then I die and I go to hell for it. Yet this whole time, I was just corrupted by another person. Now that wouldn't excuse the actions. I'm not a rapist, by the way. That wouldn't excuse the actions. But something had to have caused them. And it's clearly seen that the molestation, lack of support from people, lack of help from other people caused me to turn out that way. Now you talk about a loving father, a God who is a loving father. Would a loving father give up on their child, on their son, on their daughter, because darkness has taken over them, because they've had a hard life, and it has made them into a person that they should not be? Yet that person always had that speck of goodness in them, even if only the father was able to see it. That person always had some goodness in them. I dare you to try to find one person who doesn't have the smallest speck of something good in them. Yet, isn't it a father's job to instead try to bring out that goodness? Try to provide the positive support needed for that goodness, needed to, to express that goodness, show that goodness, to, help the person escape the darkness, and to express the goodness. Yet, at the end, someone would just go to hell. And that would mean that the Father throws them away, as if because they had been corrupted, and because they had been wrong within their life. Yet in that same way, the Father is throwing away that person's chance of becoming a good person. The Father is throwing away the hope for that person and sending that person to eternal torment, which, I don't care what you've done in this life. I'm not saying that you should not be punished for your wrongdoings. We learn through punishment. That's the way we learn, and that's the way we progress. Through realizing the right and wrong actions, we do that, especially when we're younger and don't have a moral code of our own to live by, don't have our own empathy. We learn through punishment. Now, I don't support corporal punishment on kids. That's like hitting them. But still we teach through punishment. For example, kid hits mommy. No, don't hit mommy. Hits mommy again. Okay, I'm taking away your toy. The kid doesn't like having their toy taken away. And every time they hit mommy, they have the toy taken away. Therefore, they learn through that it's wrong to hit mommy. So it makes sense that punishment to help somebody grow. But hell doesn't help somebody grow, because it neither fits the crime nor offers any chance for that person to re-pick themselves up, to accept goodness into their life. Now it's interesting because I'm an atheist, but what I say is, some people say God is love, but I say love is God. And what that means to me is, I believe that we should live by love, that we should try to be as good as possible to love our neighbor, not because of any heaven or hell, any, hope of heaven or threat of hell, but rather for the purpose of love and creating a better world. And I think that if we follow love, the path of love, we cannot be wrong, no matter what you believe. And this makes sense to me. And I don't think that any just God would send me to hell, even if I don't believe in him. Because whatever the source of that love is, I don't know what it is. Whatever the source of that love is, I don't think it's likely God. But whatever it is therefore good. At least the love that comes from it is good. Yet if it's also the source of evil, then that is not good. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense. And also on the topic of Dante's Inferno, I have a friend, also an atheist, and I will say a very good person. And we've had discussions, and we've talked about Dante's Inferno. I also have a lot of Catholic friends, because I go to a Catholic school, and they think that the idea of Dante's Inferno is ridiculous. They think that hell is simply a separation, an eternal separation from God. But to me, I have, I guess you could say, prayed that if God is out there, that he will show himself to me. That I would accept him if I could truly see him. If I could, not literally see him, but if I could see the truth, if he would show me the truth, I would be willing to accept it as the truth. However, if God were immoral and I saw immorality in God's actions, and maybe that's where faith comes in, I don't know. But if I saw God being immoral, torturing those I love in the afterlife, not giving people a chance, I would stand up against that. I would not worship that God, because that God would, to me, not be worthy of worship, no matter where that leads me. I'm not selfish. And that's what makes sense to me. So I think that if there were a God, that I don't think we all should just go to heaven, but I also don't think we should go to hell either. I think that we should have an eternal chance to grow as a person, to be with the ones we love, and I really don't think life should change much. Except that that our actions should truly be represented with appropriate consequences. And he should never lose faith in us to become better. I don't hate God, by the way, as you could probably tell. I hate what people often try to make of God. So this is just my thoughts. No, I don't think there's a hell. I don't think that anyone deserves it, because it's eternal. Some people deserve punishment. A lot of people deserve punishment. But eternal suffering, it's illogical to me, and it's extreme to me. Spike here. Peace out. Much clown love to all of you, and much love to my subscribers. Peace!